Hello and welcome to Sports Talk. I'm Frank Noppenberger, and today's show is about Mr. Kevin McEvoy. Mr. Kevin McEvoy and I started teaching at East Brunswick together in 1977, and it's kind of bittersweet saying goodbye to Coach Mac because I consider him a good friend. Like I said, I've worked side by side with him since '77. He's an outstanding, dedicated coach and just a fabulous teacher. And during that time, he's had 34 seasons of coaching, and 76 seasons of coaching in 34 years. But more importantly, Coach Mac has been an ideal role model for our athletes and a positive influence upon our school and community. Coach Mac, again, thank you for coming. Thank you for everything you've done for our kids. And tell me what's going through your mind right now.
Well, thanks for that kind introduction, Mr. Knopp. What's going through my mind is I'm getting ready for the sectional championship on Saturday.
Oh,
that's what's going on. Aside from finishing up some lesson plans, getting over here for this show, that's the routine. But, you know, on a serious note with regard to retirement, it's time, that's all. I've been dutifully employed here in East Brunswick for 35 years, loved every minute of it, been coaching for those 35, and I'm in a place where, as you know, Donna's retired, Blaine's off, and everything's good, and it's time to, I guess, close the book, put it up on the shelf, and move to the next phase of...
Well, what's good, Mac, is you're going on top. You know, you're not going to be like traded to the Mets or get downgraded to another team. You're going on top with your Hall of Fame career. You won the conference championship this year. We got the GMC coming up last year, state champs, inducted in the Hall of Fames and all these other awards. The Magic Station just honored you for last year being a great teacher, teacher who cares. With all this, Mac, what is the secret of your success in your mind?
Oh, I think the secret of the success begins with the kids that we teach and the kids that we coach. The community is fantastic. You know, you and I have been here, living here our entire career. When the kids come up through the recreational into the middle school programs and they come to us, the foundation has been laid, and it then becomes my job to tweak and finite the kids who are in our sport. You know, our sport being an individual sport, a little different than football, basketball, soccer. Each kid knows exactly what his event is, knows what his responsibility is. And it's not just Kevin McEvoy, but you know, Rick Murray, Brian Merrigan, Don Mandy, Doug Ty, all active in terms of fine-tuning these kids in preparation for success. Whether that be success just in a dual meet where that secondary, third-dairy, fourth-dairy kid finds success and is happy in the result, or that athlete who wins the state championship.
Right. Well, you know, I've learned a lot of about track over the years, but more importantly, I learned of to contradict what you said before about an individual versus a team sport. Just share with the audience just last weekend, or was it 2 weekends ago, how it came down to the last event and the individuals won the GMC.
Right. Well, what happens in our sport is, yes, it is an individual event, 55-meter dash, 55 hurdles, shot, high jump, and so on. But then at the end of the day, you add up all the points that the kids have scored to get a team champion. And last week at the GMC championship, it came down to the mile relay. We pride ourselves, always have, on having a strong mile relay. We've recorded the 4th fastest time in the state of New Jersey this year. So going into that last event, there was this, you know, quasi smirk on my face because we knew we were going to win the mile relay and we're going to walk out of there champions. Unless, of course, we dropped the baton or there was some disqualification. But we also train the kids in those areas to not make those types of mistakes. And so we add up all the points and we came out of there team winner.
And then I remember sharing with you, if you give me the short version, one of the athletes, he was going to run, he wasn't going to run, and then he wasn't our best runner. But you said, I'm going to take him down to Petty, and then you let him run and the experience. Just tell, because it tells the audience what kind of a person you are. It's just not about the winning and playing the best kid. You gave a kid an experience. Tell us about that.
Well, I think some of the great memories, sure, they're the county championships and the state championships. But when you have situations where you bring a kid to a meet such as our annual dual meet against Petty, which is it's a high-profile meet because Petty has a program that is storied in terms of the past 50 years. And you bring that secondary, third-dairy athlete down there, and he runs and he competes. You can just see when the race is over that level of success, that level of thankfulness that the young man, or in that case, young lady, since I've coached the girls, getting on the bus and having a kid say, "Mr. Mack, thanks for taking me down." Whoa! It's like it sort of blows you away with regard to feeling good about yourself, feeling good about the kid, and then sort of like that kid can then take that success and run with that in some later time in his life.
You've created a memory for that kid.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I remember the time when I went down to Petty and Coach Mack gave me the chance.
You put a kid on a 4x2 meter relay in the county meet or the state meet, right? That secondary, the kid who fills the void, who helps the team.
Right.
It's beautiful.
Memories. Speaking of memories, don't want to put you on the spot, and I understand if you don't want to answer. Most memorable team, boys and/or girls?
That question was asked of me, so you're not putting me on the spot. Recently, the Patch guys came by, and that was posed. And there have been so many quality teams over such a long period of time. 70s, 80s, 90s, new millennium, and now into the second decade. That just because we have the state championship here, and that's from last year, and that's fresh in our memory, that doesn't make them the best team. I don't think there's any. You really put me on the spot. There's no one team. If I want to go back to the 1970s with Joe Fisher, and then jump ahead to 2006 and see Joe's son, Doug Fisher, to have Joe and his son at the finish line embraced at the 55 meters because both father and son did it, that was wonderful. We had some very strong teams with the girls program in the early 90s. I can remember from Pam Harrington through the Rabi sisters, through Kira Horvath, very strong teams.
I'm gonna throw out later some names, and I'm going to tell you the first thing that comes to your mind.
Sure, we can play that.
How about race or performance? I'll tell you what mine is. I just can't get out of my mind Joe Fisher Jr. or Doug won? Who won?
Doug.
Doug, out of the blocks to win that sprint a few years down there. I just couldn't imagine he was in the outside lane, which is a disadvantage. Outside lane. And I'll never forget the excitement. And I looked at the dad and I said, I think he won. I looked at you guys. Yeah. We think we won. And everyone was just like, we think he won. Yeah. I'll never forget that. That to me, that's my most memorable track moment in the last 10 years
those moments, exactly. Those moments of exhilaration when a kid has done a personally set performance. The kid, he runs a dual meet. He finishes third. He helps the team get a point. Then he finds out what his time is, and it's his own personal. Right. You see they love the face. It just lights up. And then you have championship races like the Fisher.
Right. And last year spring, watching Sam throw the shot and everything else. Yeah. Or the discus, I should say.
What's great about Sam? It's just you stand around the cage, and there's just dozens of people, and the hush, and then the uplift of seeing that disc fly out 200 and some odd feet. And everybody's going like, ooh and ah, that's fascinating.
And for our audience, that's Sam Mattis, who's a two-time state champion in the discus. He's probably going to win it again this year. He's going to Penn to compete, and in a few years, we hope to see him at the Olympics.
That would be wonderful.
And he said he's taking us, Mac, me and you. Mac, I've always asked this because we started at the same time. Could you compare the athletes from the 77 to now? Do you think there's a difference?
I think there's a big difference. I think with regard to the training technique on some level is still the same, but I think our athletes today are smarter with regard to nutrition, preparation, finding that happy medium between proper sleep, getting their schoolwork done, and getting ready for the workouts. And the big thing recently has been the weight room. The athletes, of yesteryear didn't spend as much time, and partially that's to blame, or if there is blame, that's because of me. But the kids today, mandatory weight room, and we're seeing positive results because of it. So I think nutrition and weightlifting has been the
I see in all sports, they compare, the old timers may say, our kids were better. I think the athletes now are better, stronger, faster in every sport.
Across the board.
In every sport. There may be an exceptional.
Because we see our soccer players in the weight room. We see our swimmers in the weight room.
You see the way the soccer players handle the ball, the distance they get on their kicks, the placement of their kicks.
Oh, right.
I mean, it's
like watching this year's, and we're getting away from track, but this year's soccer team, the talent those kids had.
As compared to years ago.
Yes.
And that's why I don't think you can ever compare which is your best team. The best team may not be the team that won the championship, because you also have to depend on what your opponent. Maybe they're weaker this year, and you were weak, but you still won the championship.
And because of nutrition and training, there were school records that were broken this year and last year that I thought, these are never going to be broken. Like, for argument's sake, Kyle Grady, who had our school record in the 55-meter hurdles, broken this year by Alex Malveaux.
Right.
The 55-meter dash. Held by 6 kids, broken by Donald Urschel. The mile relay that was a standard set in 1979, broken last year, and we're looking to break that again this year.
Do you think it's got to do with that new track? Is there anything to do with the new track and the faster tracks? Not necessarily ours, because Mondo is faster, but the indoor facilities, are they faster?
Yep, across the board. From the moment that Dr. Magistro and the Board of Education decided to get us that state-of-the-art Mondo track, times got better. Fewer kids were getting injured with regard to tweaks and slight pulls. And then, as you said, some of the facilities that we run at in the winter, the bubble down in Toms River running up to Jersey City, we weren't doing that 15 years ago.
How about this, Mac? Do you remember cinder tracks?
Right.
These kids don't, no idea. Right. You ran on what? It's like running in the sand.
When I first started in 77, cinder. We still had to get that track wet. They had to somehow wet it down. Dudley would come out with the steamroller, or one of the maintenance guys, and then they would lime the
line it
lanes
with the same stuff they used the baseball
and then
field.
the almost borderline 1-inch spikes. Yeah, it was great. I mean, that's what we had.
And then
that's what we knew.
For anyone that's been around a long, long time, remember the outdoor track around the JV baseball field? Yeah. I think it was only there a couple of years for us, but it was a fundraiser, and they had an outdoor facility.
That was still there when I came on board. That was a Pete Kaznowski,
Mr. Kaznowski.
Fundraiser put that together.
Speaking of Pete Kaznowski, you just enlightened me about the history of East Brunswick winter track. Started in around 79?
69.
69?
In and around. Pete was our first
coach. 3 coaches, Pete Kaznowski. Right. Then there was a gentleman, Larry Zambrowski, for a year.
Right.
And you.
And then me. That's it.
That's it.
And the history of the school.
Yeah. And as we said before, that's part of the secret of our success. Basketball has only been 5. Right. Football, 5. Baseball, 5 or 6.
And that's another reason, getting back to Kevin, it is time for the MAC to move on, and we're going to bring in the next young stud and let him run with the program.
Well, if you think it's time, you think it's time. But you're on top of the game now, so I'd love to have you hang around a little bit more. But that's me being selfish. How about an amusing story? Because we're getting close to the end. Give me one. Come on. Kid's pants falling down during a race.
Put me on. If I had known these questions in advance. Amusing, but not so amusing, but because it's a spontaneity of what ran through my head. We're coming out of Jersey City about 5-7 years ago.
Oh, the bus?
The bus catches on fire.
No, we don't want that bus. Let's go to a different.
Okay, so we don't go there. It was funny.
Mr. Mack calls me and says, Mr. Knopp,
no problem over here on the turnpike.
I think the bus is on fire.
And it was great because that demonstrated, and we got all the kids off the bus and moved them off on the side of the turnpike. State troopers came, everything was fine, but it just demonstrated who our athletes are. Right. Everybody was, the bus was not engulfed in flames.
Oh, I know.
It was a little smoke problem, but safety first. Got all the kids off. Exactly. The cell phones, all the parents came up. I grabbed a couple of phones to comfort some parents to make sure they understood, and it all worked out. We look back and we laugh.
Right, but it does go show you about kids how, not that they're conditioned like robots, but they listen to the coach. Coach
Sure.
said, get over there. And they develop leadership because they bring the other kids
Sure.
with them. And, you know, that's all part of being part of a team. That's how you learn to work with one another.
But fun, there's something funny every day, you know. We,
Yeah,
we have to make, we work hard, but we have to make it
Do
fun.
me a favor, if something comes up, don't be hesitant.
Okay.
Like I remember in basketball, when I was coaching, I was an assistant coach, and a kid got in. Mr. Ty says, hey, Mandy, get in there. Mandy gets in, runs in the game, and the place is hysterically laughing.
Right.
And we're looking and say, why? Well, he had his white jersey on instead of his green jersey.
There you go.
And, you know, he was a nervous kid, so, you know, that's what I'm thinking about. So if it comes up, let us know. Something I've always was interested in. Do you coach the male and the female differently? And is there a difference in coaching the male and female? Because you've been successful in both.
The only difference, and I've said this spanning the years, the difference between the boy and the girl athlete is when you, let's use a hurdler for argument's sake. When you tell the kid exactly what you're looking for because they've done this wrong and they should be doing it this way, the girls immediately try and do it the way I said to do it. Whereas, not that the boys are questioning, but it takes them 2 or 3 or 4 times before they get it. That's it. The girls will listen to you, try immediately. Maybe they're better listeners. I don't know. Haven't found that in the classroom.
Right.
But that's the glaring difference. That's it. Other than that,
other coaches concur, say the same thing.
Same workout. We'll do. You know, I'll do the same. My philosophy of running is the same for the boys and the girls. The workouts are the same. Just 2 different seasons.
Right. The male and the female. Is there a big difference in their work ethic? The
No.
dedication part.
No.
Yeah, I don't see that.
No. In our individual sport, the boys and the girls both understand what it's going to take. Sometimes they may not want to do it, work that hard, but that's why we're there. We have to bring that out in them. But dedication to sport, getting back to weight room, equal.
All right, Matt, give me I'm going to throw out a name, give me a comment.
Okay.
Families. We did the Fishers already. How about the Sabinos?
Oh, Bill, Ray, Kathy.
Yeah.
You know,
Athletes.
funny. I got funny. You know,
The Rushnacks.
well, so the Sabino. You know, the late Bill and Ray Sabino. Kathy. You know, she ran quarter-mile for us. Those kids were astronomically dedicated to personal improvement. That's who the Sabinos were. The Rushnacks. Woof.
Athletes.
Fierce competitors.
Both of them.
Yes.
Amazing.
Bobby a little more outwardly.
And for the audience out there that our kids are student athletes, give us a quick about Dr. Charlie Gatt right now. What's
Charlie.
he doing and, you know, how his career?
Wow, there's a blast from the past.
Yeah.
Dr. Charlie. Charlie is one of those early 1980s grads. Ran the deuce, ran the 2 mile. One of those, not a county champ, but Charlie got the most out of his athletic ability.
Right.
That was really cool. And today, one of Central New Jersey's more highly sought after
Orthopedics.
yes,
He's one of the
ankle
best
and knee
around.
surgeons. Right.
He's outstanding. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a break. We got a little surprise for you. We're going to bring a couple of student athletes in, current, and we're going to ask them some questions about the Mac Man. So we'll be back in a minute with that.
Sounds good.
We're back just like we promised with the Kevin McEvoy Show, when we have Alex Malveaux and Don Urschel with us. Current student athletes. You guys were on here almost a year ago. Give us a quickie and what you're doing now and your plans for September.
We're working a lot harder this year than we were last year. Still working hard, but the workout's getting harder. We're trying to push for success because we need that because we lost Leonard. So it's going to be a lot harder to win, and we want to win again. So we're just working really hard. And then we also know that we're going to probably be running in college. So we're going to expect this next year. So we're going to get ready.
Where are you thinking of going?
I would like to go to Villanova and run there.
And run there? And major in
Engineering.
Good,
So-
good. Alex, how about you?
Right, I'm also interested in running track in college, and I have a list of schools, including, Rutgers and Penn, Hopkins, so I'm just looking to see how things turn out. But like Donald said, I'm just trying to work hard now and get ready for this season as a high school athlete, but also for the future as a college athlete.
Well, that just goes to show you guys are the epitome of student athletes. And Coach Mack isn't a former EB person, track person, isn't he coach at Connecticut and he's recruiting these
great.
guys?
Coach Roy is a 74 grad of East Brunswick High School.
Right.
Looking at both of these
You need
guys.
to go up there.
And we've been in communication with Villanova for Donnie and Rutgers University for Alex. Just want to say, Donald is our 55-meter champion, and Alex is our 55-meter hurdle champions at the most recent GMC championship, and looking forward to big things in our state competition this year.
We have a first 50 years, we had the outstanding basketball, football, whatever player. Unfortunately, guys, you didn't make the cut because it was prior, but the next 50,
I'll be in the second 50.
when I do it, you'll be in the next 50, I promise. I'm going to be around for that. You'll be my first name in there, Alex. Let's talk about Mr. Mack. Why is he so successful?
I guess his coaching techniques. He knows when we need rest, and he knows when we have to work hard. And he tells us, and he's been in it for a while, so he gives us good advice. And just listen to him, it works.
Now, Alex, you were a hurdle champion, and we know Mr. Mack was a great hurler at Seton Hall, and I forget the high school, St. Joe's. Do you find that he is like the expert hurdler coach?
Yeah, I think it's really beneficial for me that Coach Mack was so good in high school and competed at the collegiate level, because everything I learned, I basically learned from him at the hurdles. So all the success I have, I can attribute to Coach McEvoy.
Yeah, I agree.
No, it's not. That's no.
Well, work ethic too, but
It's them. It's not Kevin McEvoy. Okay.
Right.
I set a tone, and I'm very gracious with your comments, but these guys are hardworking, and they've been easy to coach.
okay, this is an easy question, and it's an answer. Who is faster?
This guy.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You beat the Mac. That's good.
Sure.
You don't let him forget that, do you?
No, you
Don't, man. Okay, 4 years ago, you come up here as a freshman.
Yeah.
You're carrying all your books on your backpack, and you're looking at all these guys, and Mr. Knopp's yelling at all the freshmen, you belong here. And there was also another guy barking a little bit. Has your perception of Coach Mack changed from your freshman year to now?
Yeah, I'm more friendly with Mac. I mean, my brother told me what it was going to be like, so I was just quiet and did what I did, earn my respect. And
What was his warning to you?
he just said, "Don't do anything stupid." And he said one of his first when he was a freshman is he skipped one of his events and he got in trouble for it. He got busted for it. He said, "Make sure you never listen to what they say and don't skip one of your events."
Right.
Alex?
Remember that?
Right, and at first, it's a little intimidating because
A little?
Yeah, you hear all these stories about, Mr. Mack, and what's going to happen. But after you go through all that, and now by your senior year, you really learn to respect everything that he's done.
Right.
So
Because he's been there and done that.
They can sit back and watch me prey on the freshmen.
Right. And you guys grin about that?
yeah.
Alex, give me your favorite Coach Mack story.
Well, I think a lot of the interesting stories he tells us are the best is before we go out to run, we always meet in his classroom. He always gives us different stories about, the things that he's taught about or the people that he's coached. So I think a lot of those stories are really interesting.
I would say the same thing. And also, I remember always running the 400. Mac's always up at that same spot, screaming.
Run the corners, run the corners.
Run the
right?
corners. It's the only one I can hear when I'm running.
All right.
Is Mac screaming, "Run faster, run harder."
And they run.
Get your knees up.
Yes, they do.
Get your knees up.
Knees up. Get on your toes.
That's right. Let me just give you a couple of highlights of Coach Mack's career that we'll see on the screen later. But Coach Mack coached soccer at Hammersholt. Did you know Hammersholt used to be a junior high? He was also a track coach at Hammersholt. We used to have 9th grade and 8th grade track at Hammersholt. And Churchill, we had 2 junior highs. He's had 17 undefeated teams. That's pretty impressive. Six state champions. But if you ask Coach Mack what's he most proud of, he's probably going to say, and we just started this recently, not us, but the conference, the 5 sportsmanship awards that his teams, boys and girls, have both won. And that's the type of guy Mack is. And you guys know he's inducted into the NJSI Hall of Fame. The National Federation has recognized him for his dedication and career, and especially last year, and a banquet coming up. But that's the type of guy he is. You know, it's all about the sportsmanship and doing the right thing. Before we finish this little 10-minute thing, you got a message, anything you'd like to tell the audience out there about, first of all, your rings. Tell us about your rings.
Oh, yeah, these rings, well, these were Coach Mack's idea, and these were for a spring state championship and winter state championship.
Which is which?
This one is the spring, and this one is winter. Okay,
well, I have this Saturday, I'm taking the trip down there, and where are we going to put that one? On the thumb or what, man?
I'm going to find someplace to put it.
Thank you.
All right, because obviously you guys are very close to doing the same thing. Before we conclude, would you like to say anything to Mac? I don't want to put you on the spot. You don't have to.
I'd like to just say it was a good 4 years.
Right. Thanks.
And yeah, thanks.
You know.
And all those kids are gonna miss you. That's gonna.
Yeah, they sure
they're
are.
lost, but.
I feel sorry for the next generation of track guys coming, and there's not going to be a Coach Mack for them. So
there's going to be another McEvoy. Don't worry.
Well, see, I disagree with that because I've been here a lot of years. We both started in '77, and the secret of our success, as we said earlier in the program, is the continuity of our coaches. We haven't had many coaches, only 3 winter track coaches, and Max had the longest tenure of all of them, and that's what makes successful. But before we leave, Mac, tell us, what are you going to miss most about the teaching? Because I go past your class, and how many times have I stopped and listened and watched, especially when the American history in the 50s and the 60s?
Ooh.
Because people forget what a great teacher you are.
Just the daily dynamics of the interaction, because I have Donald now in class, the excitement of what happens, the conversations we have, the questions that are posed, the responses by the kids. It's just, I think that natural high that happens when you're just in the classroom. I guess I'm going to miss that come next September when I'm sitting at home watching television. There's going to be a void.
I love when the kids, well, most of them are graduates. Now, all of them are graduates, come over to my house. Who's your favorite teacher? Tell me your favorite story. Oh, Mr. Mack. He was the greatest. They just loved your history class.
Thank you.
So with that, Mac, I'll let you have the last word. But before we do that, I just want you to know that you'll be remembered as one of the best, Mac, at East Brunswick High School, and we're all going to miss you. And hopefully there will be someone to replace you, but it's hard.
Sure.
Would you like any final words? Or
bottom line, just continue success with the program under your guidance, because we left out Mr. Noppenberger. It's because of Mr. Knopp and Mr. Murphy and the Board of Education that has allowed us to go everywhere we want to go. And let's just hope that the program continues to succeed the way we saw success spanning the past 35.
So on behalf of all your athletes present and in the past, I want to thank Coach Mr. Mack, and thank you for watching. Thank you guys, and good luck Saturday.
Thank you.
Front foot, concentration. Don't wait for me. Don't react. Don't try to guess me. Take your marks. Step. Up. Ease up. Go. I've been working for 4 years this hard for us to go down there and false start. So that kind of stuff, fired up, ready to go, we win.